Chapter 41 Magic City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, their power level is basically just gym level. Honestly, they're even more talented than Hyluga, who's also got gym level potential. He managed to hit the Quasi-King level, and the other 3 elves my dad has all have the potential to reach that level too, so, breaking through to Quasi-King won't be as tough for them as it was for Hyluga. I used my appraisal skill on Hyluga. Species, Hyluga. Gender. Male. Power, 61, early Quasi-King level. Type, dark/fire. Ability, intimidate. Hidden. Potential, Quasi-King level. Domain of evil, dark moves deal double damage. Moves, take down, hyper beam, bite, flame charge, sunny day, dark pulse, flamethrower, solar beam, explosion, pursuit, destiny bond, hold. The appraisal revealed Hyluga's domain is the domain of evil. When he uses it, his dark moves do double damage, plus, inside the domain of evil, other move types are weakened by 50%, unless other elves also have domains, they'll be suppressed by Hyluga's. Quasi-King level domain, no matter what, that's why a Quasi-King can take down any gym level elf, even a whole bunch of them, their domains just shut them down. Pop, fizz. Firecrackers announced the New Year's arrival. It was New Year's Eve, and Dad's Hyluga had just leveled up. Dinner's ready. Mom called us in, and Dad and I went to enjoy a New Year's Eve feast. From what I remember growing up, we always spent the Chinese New Year at my grandpa's place, but for some reason, we never went to my grandma and grandpa's. Sometimes I'd ask Mom and Dad, but they always clammed up. Seemed like something went down way back, and they just stopped talking. Mom's last name is Jiang. Same as Jiang Xia. Her name is Jiang Xiling. Dad met Mom when he was in college in the capital, then came to Jinling City to get married. I couldn't get more details, but I figured Mom probably comes from a big, important family. After hanging around home for a while, I definitely packed on a few pounds. Before the 10th day of the new year, I decided to head to the Magic City, which is what they call Shanghai. It's next door, but Jinling City is still quite a hike from Shanghai. Back in the day, Shanghai was under Jinling's thumb as Songjiang, but now it's directly controlled by the central government. Shanghai's become a powerhouse, especially its elf university. It's one of the top spiritual science universities in the country, with a ridiculously talented staff. Even the regular instructors are pro trainers. If you want to be a professor, you better be gym level. Plus, rumor has it they give out a ton of school points just for enrolling, and you can even trade those points for starter Pokémon. You can even redeem quasi-gods with enough points, which is just insane. The biggest draw of the Magic City Elf University is their focus on water types. They have access to almost every water-type Pokémon out there. That's because the university president is a king-level trainer. Being president is just a side gig for him, though. His main job is running the Magic City Water Gym. It's a national-level water gym, the strongest in the Chinese Alliance. He's also the Water King of the Chinese Alliance. Nobody in China comes close to his skills with water Pokémon. Plus, he's the top military commander of the Southeast Military Region, in charge of all the military trainers in the region. Since Shanghai is on the coast, it gets hit by rogue water Pokémon all the time. There are way more Pokémon in the sea than on land, and the resources in the ocean are richer, so sea Pokémon are generally tougher than land Pokémon. Some of the more aggressive ones like to attack people on the shore. If they didn't have powerful trainers stationed there, Shanghai couldn't be an international city. Of course, I wasn't driving. I booked a high-speed rail ticket way ahead of time. The Chinese Alliance is obsessed with building infrastructure. They've got high-speed rail lines running everywhere, covering the whole country, and every line has a high-speed rail guard unit to deal with emergencies. They have military trainers on standby to stop adult Pokémon from attacking the trains, keeping people safe. The reason I was rushing to Shanghai was to try out for the Elf Cup competition. Tons of people from the eastern region sign up every year. But if everyone went straight to the official matches, there wouldn't be enough space, so this tryout is to weed out most of the applicants. The ones who make it to the real competition are the best of the best, true geniuses. Basically, if you don't have ordinary level, 21 to 30, strength, you're not getting into the official tournament. I grabbed a cab straight from Shanghai Hongqiao high-speed rail station to Pudong. Turns out, this place is expensive. The cab fare alone was a few hundred yuan, way more than in Jinling City. I felt the pinch, not that I'm broke, just selling one jug of monkey wine would net me millions, but trading valuable resources for cash is a sucker's game, money is just a number to a serious trainer. I grabbed a quick bite in Pudong, then headed over to the Pudong New Area Elf Arena. I wanted to register for the competition. I'd already signed up online. The Elf Arena was packed, it's a big deal in the eastern region, and people from all along the coast come to compete. Name, Jiang Li. Age, 16. I filled out the registration form. Here comes another one just going through the motions, one of the staffers said after hearing my age. Being a new high schooler, my elf strength can't be all that impressive, I'll probably get knocked out in the first round. Chapter 42 Charizard Super Evolution Stone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So, what are the elves, and how strong are they? The staffer asked. I've got a Charizard, and he's between mid-level and high-level, Jiang Li replied. The staffer's jaw dropped. Wait, are you sure about that? You know we're testing elf strength later, right? If you're lying, you're out. Jiang Li chuckled. He knew they wouldn't believe him, after all, he wasn't that old. No one would believe he could own a Charizard at his age, so, Jiang Li pulled out a Pokeball and tossed it. With a flash, a Charizard with a powerful back, 2 wings, and a tall, lean body materialized. Whoa, the staff gasped. They couldn't believe it was actually a Charizard. Whether they believed it or not, the proof was right there. Charmanders only evolve into Charizards after breaking through to the high end of the mid-level. Looks like we've got some serious competition. A girl in black stockings murmured from the crowd. After paying the 300 yuan registration fee, Jiang Li took Charizard's Pokeball to the elf strength testing area. Since today was the last day to register, the testing area was packed. Jiang Li waited a long time before finally getting his turn, all the while under the disbelieving stares of the inspectors. Ding dong. System notification. Host is preparing to participate in the Magic City Elf Cup competition. Initiating system tasks. System task. Participate in the Magic City Elf Cup competition. Task requirement. Win the Magic City Elf Cup competition. Mission reward. Obtain Charizard's Mega Stone X. Whoa! Jiang Li's eyes widened at the system's reward. Hey, kid, you alright? An elderly man nearby overheard Jiang Li's exclamation and, thinking he was in trouble, came over to ask. Oh, I'm good, thanks. Jiang Li said reassuringly. He couldn't help but react to the reward, Charizard's Mega Stone X. That meant Charizard could evolve into a real dragon using Mega Evolution and a trainer's key stone. He could transform into a dragon/fire-type Mega Charizard X. This Mega Evolution would boost his strength immensely. Mega Stones for Charizard were practically impossible to find on the open market. Even if they were available, they'd only show up at auctions. Sometimes, you'd see Mega Stones at auction houses, but Charizard stones were especially rare. Because Charizard was a starter Pokémon in the Chinese Alliance, all of its resources were tightly controlled. More often than not, when a Charizard's Mega Stone was discovered, it was immediately snatched up by League officials or top-tier trainers. Even if it did go to auction, you needed serious cash, at least 1 billion yuan, just to play. This made Jiang Li determined to win the Elf Cup. Before, his goal had just been a top 3 finish. After all, the top 3 got to pick elves at the Demon City breeding house. The reward difference between them was just the availability of evolution stones like water stones or fire stones, but now things were different. He had a system task. System, I'm accepting the mission. The host request has been accepted and the system task has been initiated. Seeing the confirmation, Jiang Li happily headed back to his hotel room to rest up and prepare for tomorrow's competition. The next day, Jiang Li arrived for the qualifying rounds. With so many participants, the battles were going to be frequent. Jiang Li, Li Jing. As the staff called his name, Jiang Li stepped up to participate in the audition competition. The first round of the qualifying competition was a free-for-all. 10 people sent out their elves at once. Only the last person standing would advance to the next round. The rules were brutal. Alright, Poliwag, let's go. Slowpoke, come on out. Charizard, let's do this. As the elves appeared, the other contestants saw Jiang Li's Charizard and instantly freaked out. Everyone else had novice-level Pokémon, and this guy had a fully evolved Charizard. It was like a high schooler showing up in kindergarten. It was going to be a massacre. Jiang Li used his appraisal skill on the other trainers and found that their Pokémon were generally around the mid-novice level, 11 to 20. The strongest were barely into the mid-level, 21 to 30, meaning, aside from his Charizard, nobody else stood a chance. For Charizard, this competition was practically a walk in the park. Don't get discouraged. He just evolved before us. He trained for so long longer than us. He may be stronger than us, but if we reach that age and strength, we can definitely surpass him. So what are you afraid of? Let's all go at him together. We eliminate him, and we can decide who will advance in the finals. This is a fair game. How about it? Do you want to join forces? Seeing that some contestants looked ready to quit, a guy with freckles and glasses spoke up, trying to boost their morale. Under normal circumstances, he wouldn't have said anything. The more opponents who quit, the better for him, but there was a common saying that they should unite and work together, so as for an opponent he cannot possibly defeat. They could only defeat Jiang Li's fire-breathing dragon by joining forces to launch an attack. For the man with black glasses, he is a student who has just entered the second year of high school. He thought he had actually met an elf who was a quasi-college student with ordinary high-level strength, and he was very helpless. After all, he believed that when he reached Jiang Li's age, his strength would definitely not be weaker than Jiang Li's, but the reality is that he must unite with other students to defeat Charizard. But this man with black eyes could never have imagined that Jiang Li was actually younger than him. Alright, let's do it. Energized by the bespectacled guy's speech, several other contestants immediately agreed to team up. All water types, water gun attack. Now, with the bespectacled guy taking the lead, they began directing the water-type Pokémon on the field to launch a coordinated water gun attack on Charizard. Chapter 43: The Difficult Ghost Stone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing the other players team up, Jiang Li remained silent. He wasn't worried. These contestants, even together, wouldn't pose much of a threat. He figured that raw power would trump their combined efforts. They were basically amateurs compared to him. Charizard, flamethrower. Charizard immediately unleashed a stream of fire on the opposing Pokémon. Of course, he was holding back, otherwise, a full power blast would knock them out instantly. The flamethrower met resistance from the water guns of 3 water-type Pokémon. But Charizard's intense flames cut right through the water jets, vaporizing them. The resulting superheated steam scalded the water types. All grass types, Vine Whip. Now, immediately, several grass-type Pokémon manipulated the ground, sending vines snaking out, trying to restrain Charizard. They were also trying to keep him from taking to the air. If he got airborne, they'd become sitting ducks. Haunter, go. Shadow Sneak. Suddenly, a Haunter appeared behind Charizard. It belonged to the guy with glasses, and was his strongest Pokémon besides Charizard. Species, Haunter. Gender, male. Strength, level 22, early stage. Type, ghost/poison. Ability, levitate. Potential, gym leader. Moves, shadow punch, hypnosis, confuse ray, lick, mean look, payback, spite, curse, trick room. This Haunter, though early in its development, posed the biggest threat to Charizard. Ghost types like Haunter were rare, and Jiang Li really wanted one. If he had the time, he might even head to Xi'an. Because Xi'an had been the national center of 13 dynasties, many ancient emperors are buried there. The area's history made it ideal for ghost types. Many strong ones lived there, so, given the opportunity, Jiang Li would definitely go there to catch a ghost type. Charizard immediately noticed the Haunter behind him. He instantly flared up, incinerating the vines wrapped around him. The gap between him and the grass types was too wide. Plus, fire was super effective against them, so they couldn't really slow him down. Charizard used Fire Punch, slamming into Haunter. The intense heat radiated off Charizard, making Haunter visibly uncomfortable. Heh. The guy with glasses chuckled. He thought he had everything under control. He hadn't actually expected the vines to hold Charizard. Haunter, Trick Room. He. Facing the oncoming fire punch, Haunter immediately activated Trick Room. The rules of the area warped. The faster Charizard attacked, the slower he would move in this reversed magic space. Charizard's move was powerful enough to take out Haunter in one hit, but what if he missed? Now, Water Gun. With Charizard slowed down, the guy with glasses immediately ordered the other trainers to have their Pokémon fire water guns. Water types dealt double damage to fire types. Even though their water types were much weaker than Charizard, multiple attacks could do serious damage. Multiple high-pressure water streams slammed into Charizard. The guy with glasses figured this would drain most of Charizard's stamina. Now was the real opportunity. Seize it. Haunter, Shadow Sneak. The guy with glasses seized the opportunity while Charizard was distracted. One hit would be enough to take Charizard down, but would things really go as planned? Haunter turned into a shadow, disappearing from sight, then it emerged from Charizard's shadow, launching itself towards Charizard's forehead. Charizard, Dark Pulse. Charizard unleashed a wave of dark energy. Like a burst of light, it slammed directly into Haunter, sending it flying. What? No way. How does your Charizard have enough energy left for Dark Pulse? The guy with glasses asked in disbelief. He was certain the water-type barrage had drained Charizard, but Charizard was acting like nothing had happened. Zhongli wasn't about to reveal his secret. His Charizard had water absorb. No matter how many water guns they used, they wouldn't do any damage. Instead, the attacks restored Charizard's stamina. He was in even better shape than before. Charizard, let's finish this. After Haunter was blasted away, Charizard instantly flew in front of him. The Dark Pulse had already drained most of Haunter's health. Dark was super effective against ghost types. Charizard focused his dark energy, channeling it into his jaws. He bit down on Haunter. The dark energy ravaged Haunter's body. Haunter fainted instantly. Haunter, seeing Haunter collapse, the guy with glasses quickly recalled him. Just you wait, don't count me out. After glaring at Zhongli, the guy with glasses left the arena. He was actually a bit of a prodigy. After all, he had a rare ghost-type Pokémon. Ghost types were harder to raise than other Pokémon. They needed life energy to grow. If the trainer didn't provide enough of it, some would refuse to fight, and some might even drain the trainer's own life energy. Chapter 44 Gyarados sieges the city. Major General Xiyue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Because of contractual limitations, those ghost-type Pokémon couldn't stray too far. Even so, losing life energy can really mess someone up. Life energy is what keeps you going, and losing too much of it can leave you permanently weakened, or even worse. This guy with the glasses clearly put a ton of work into training his ghost stone. Under normal circumstances, he'd be strong enough to make it to the official competition. But he ran into a glitch in the system. Zhongli, a high school freshman with a surprisingly powerful Pokémon, so, no matter how talented he is as a trainer, it's no surprise he lost to Zhongli. Once the bespectacled guy's ghost stone, which was giving Charizard some trouble, was out of the picture, the other rookie Pokémon were basically punching bags. Charizard just used its brute strength to knock out the other 8 contestants' Pokémon. I declare Charizard the winner of this match. The referee announced from the stage. After winning, Zhongli headed home. One round was enough for today. Tomorrow, it's back to the 10-person free-for-all. Zhongli figured they'd weed out over 10,000 contestants from today's auditions alone. After all, tens of thousands of students sign up for the Elf Cup competition every year. Today's game probably knocked out most of them. These losers were mostly students who just signed their first Pokémon contract. They entered the competition just to get a feel for it. The ones who remain are the real deal. Anyone who can stand out in that crowd is a force to be reckoned with, so, tomorrow's matches will be even tougher. Without serious power, you can't survive a gang-up from other players. With nothing else on his schedule after the match, Zhongli took a trip to Pudong. Specifically, he went to the Oriental Pearl Tower, an iconic Shanghai landmark. It's not the tallest building, but it's definitely one of the most recognizable symbols of the city. If you're in Shanghai, you gotta check it out. Standing at the top, Zhongli felt like he could see the whole world below. Whoa! What's going on? Zhongli heard the crowd exclaim and followed their gaze. A Gyarados had appeared in the Huangpu River. It was flying and gathering energy. Then, it unleashed a hyper beam at a nearby skyscraper. Zhongli used his scanner and saw that this Gyarados was gym level. It was just the beginner level of gym strength, but still way out of the league of most people. Amidst the shouts, the hyper beam slammed into a shield and stopped dead. It was a citywide energy shield. The beam collided with the shield, creating a massive explosion sound. The crowd of tourists freaked out, afraid the Gyarados would break through and attack the building. The skyscraper was close to the Oriental Pearl Tower. After all, if that building got wrecked by hyper beam, they'd be in trouble. Worse, what if the Gyarados gave up on the building and came after them? Seeing the hyper beam wasn't working, the Gyarados used Dragon Rush straight for the building. What kind of grudge did it hold? This Gyarados was out of control. Was it a wild Pokémon, or did it belong to a trainer? Regardless, it was blatantly violating the rules and disrupting the city's peace. This Gyarados would pay a price. If this Gyarados had a trainer, they were going to face a court-martial. Just as Zhongli grabbed a Pokeball to send out his dad's Arcanine to stop the Gyarados, a crescent-shaped beam of light flashed across the sky. It slammed into the Gyarados. Instantly, the Gyarados froze, floating in the air for a moment. Then, it disintegrated. Head and tail split in two. The bisected corpse fell into the Huangpu River, turning the water red. The Gyarados' remains sank into the river, sparking a feeding frenzy among the fish and water Pokémon. It hit people then. The city's defenders had taken out the Gyarados in one hit. The crowd erupted in cheers. They looked up to see a Salamence that had instantly killed the Gyarados. It was a Mega Salamence. Those wings looked like a blood-red moon. They were hard to miss. In the dark, a Mega Salamence in flight probably looks just like a blood moon. It's no wonder they called the Super Bloodwing Wyvern the Bloody Crescent Moon. Standing on the back of the Salamence was a heroic-looking woman in a military uniform and light makeup. She looked at the Huangpu River, and then at the sea beyond, lost in thought. It's Major General Xiyue. It's Major General Xiyue. Someone in the crowd recognized the woman. Zhongli checked his phone and learned that she was the young commander of the Southeast Military Region, a quasi-king level military trainer. Major General Xiyue was also well known in Shanghai. A local, she aced her college entrance exam and got into the military academy of Magic City Elf University. She was recruited into the army because of her awesome results, and later became a student of Han Zheng, the water-type king. And the leader of the Southeast Military Region. Now, at only 25 years old, she was the military commander of the Southeast Military Region, a famous figure in Shanghai. Since becoming the military commander, she had been keeping the city safe and sound, making her popular with the locals, and to have that kind of strength at 25. To lead a local military region. She was a genius. She was also considered a goddess in Shanghai and the entire eastern region. Guys were probably lining up from Shanghai to Beijing for a shot with her. Chapter 45 Super Blood Winged Dragon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhongli's eyes scanned the Super Bloodwing Wyvern before him. Species, Super Bloodwing Wyvern, Mage Form, Gender, Female, Strength, Level 65, Mid-Level Quasi-King, Type, Dragon plus Flying, Territory, Dragon Realm, Ability, Flying Skin, Talent, King Level, Skills, Dragon God Dive, Destructive Death Ray, Dragon Star Swarm, Sacrificial Crash, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Bite, Ultimate Impact, Dragon Dance, Dragon Wave, Storm. Zhongli studied the impressive data and let out a low whistle. No wonder it took out that gym-level Gyarados in one shot, a quasi-king level Pokémon with the power of Mega Evolution. That's enough to crush almost anything, even king-level Pokémon. With this Mega-evolved Bloodwing Wyvern, he could definitely hold his own. After all, Mega Evolution is a Pokémon's ultimate transformation, unlocking its full potential. Usually, Mega-evolved Pokémon can punch above their weight class. A quasi-king level Pokémon that Mega evolves can reach king level strength. That's the conclusion the Chinese alliance reached after years of studying Mega Evolution. It made Zhongli even more eager to get his hands on Charizard's Mega Stone. If his Charizard could Mega evolve, he could go from ordinary, levels 31 to 40, to stronger than elite, 21 to 30. As Major General Xiyue finally flew off on her Bloodwing Wyvern to the cheers of the crowd, Jiangli found himself wanting a dragon-type pseudo-legendary, and he had a feeling that day wasn't far off. The day's excitement had taken its toll on Jiangli. He decided to head back to the hotel and rest. Plus, because of the Gyarados attack, the Oriental Pearl Tower staff had refunded everyone's tickets, free sightseeing. Back at the hotel, Jiangli checked out the local news from Shanghai. He noticed that the Gyarados incident was only on the front page of local news, and it wasn't being reported anywhere else. Apparently, this was a regular thing. As an international city, Shanghai serves as the eastern gateway for the Chinese alliance. It's often targeted by rogue Pokémon. Without strong trainers in the area, things would quickly descend into chaos. Jiangli might have thought the rampaging Gyarados was a big deal, but Major General Xiyue and the others probably dealt with similar incidents all the time. Later, Jiangli found out why the Gyarados had attacked the city. It turned out that a trainer had forcibly captured its mate, a rare Milotic, while catching Pokémon in the East China Sea, and injured their offspring in the process. That's what triggered the Gyarados' rage and caused it to attack. The captured Milotic was being held in that particular building. The Gyarados had followed the scent up the Huangpu River. Finally, sensing that its partner was inside the building, it went berserk. In the end, the trainer who captured the Milotic paid the price, because his actions endangered public safety, and he failed to take action when the Gyarados went crazy, simply watching the building get attacked. He was arrested. You can run, but you can't hide. The trainer was immediately arrested by the local police, while the Gyarados attack didn't directly cause any fatalities. The ensuing panic resulted in a stampede, leaving many injured. Some were even in intensive care. Activating the shield to defend against the Gyarados' destructive death ray attack cost a fortune in resources. The damages were estimated to be over 100 million. The trainer was sentenced to 10 years in prison and stripped of his trainer license. Talk about bad luck. He tried to catch a Milotic and lost everything. But here's the thing. If he tried to stop the Gyarados from destroying the city, he might have gotten off easier. Instead, he lost his trainer license and was reduced to an ordinary citizen. The Gyarados also paid the ultimate price, tragically dying in the Huangpu River. The next morning, Jiangli grabbed breakfast from a street vendor, then he headed to the arena for the final round of tryouts. Arriving at the competition venue, Jiangli noticed that the staff looked exhausted, with dark circles under their eyes. He overheard that yesterday's first round of tryouts had gone on until 2 or 3 in the morning. Jiangli, Wang Jie, Zhao Lu. If I call your name, please come to the stage to compete. To the sound of the staff's listless calls, Jiangli and the other contestants stepped forward. Go, Charizard. Go, Kirbymon. Go, Ivysaur. At the referee's signal, everyone sent out their Pokémon. With everyone's Pokémon now out, things got tense. Everyone was on guard, anticipating attacks from other Pokémon. The ones who were left here had made it this far by pushing others aside. No one was in a place to work together. Everyone was on their own. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Frogadier, dodge it. Soon, small battles broke out across the arena. Vaporeon, use Water Tail. A girl with a gentle face pointed to Jiangli's Charizard, sending a water EV. Vaporeon, speeding toward the Charizard in the air, gathering water energy, it leapt forward, striking with its water tail. Jiangli scanned it and saw that the Vaporeon was level 25, a mid-level ordinary Pokémon. Charizard, Dragon Tail. Roar! Charizard charged dragon energy into its tail, and swung the draconic tail down on the pouncing Vaporeon. With a whoosh, the Vaporeon was smacked away by the Charizard's dragon tail. It crashed to the ground. The Vaporeon's water tail hit the Charizard, but it did nothing. Chapter 46. The audition is over and you are successfully promoted. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Water Elf's water tail attack wasn't effective against the fire-breathing dragon. Its water absorb ability actually healed it. The Water Elf, already reeling, was then exploited by another trainer who capitalized on its vulnerability. Knocked to the edge of the ring, the trainer ruthlessly finished the job, forcing the elf out and disqualifying it. This prompted an angry glare from the gentle-looking girl, who stormed out of the arena without a backward glance. After that skirmish, Jiangli was the only one left standing. With only 3 contestants remaining, Jiangli scanned them with his analyzer. They were all around the mid-range of the ordinary level. still a bit weaker than his Charizard. The remaining three exchanged glances, realizing the situation was tricky. They decided to team up and eliminate the strongest, the fire-breathing dragon, before turning on each other. Kabuman, use Body Slam. Ivysaur, use Hyper Beam. Pikachu, Thunderbolt. That the three elves launched a coordinated attack on Charizard, Zhongli scoffed. Even against a 3-on-1 assault, he wasn't worried. Charizard, use Ninja Art, Focus Punch, Flame Fist. Facing the charging Kirby, Charizard unleashed the Flame Fist, a move he developed by combining fire-type techniques with the concentrated power of Focus Punch. Charizard sent Kirby flying with a single blow. Whoa! That the Kirby trainer exclaimed, surprised by Charizard's power. He hadn't expected such a heavyweight to be launched like that, but then Pikachu's Thunderbolt and Ivysaur's Hyper Beam struck. Charizard, Flamethrower on Ivysaur. Ignoring Pikachu's electric attack, Charizard braced himself and focused on Ivysaur, gathering all his fire energy. Charizard unleashed a torrent of flames from his maw. The Flamethrower collided with Ivysaur's Hyper Beam, creating a dazzling burst of energy. Crackling sounds filled the air as Pikachu's Thunderbolt hit Charizard. He endured the numbness and overpowered Ivysaur's Hyper Beam with sheer force. Ivysaur was now cornered, engulfed in a river of fire. The intense heat quickly drained its stamina, causing it to faint. Kabuman, Heavy Slam. Kirby, recovered from the previous blow, charged back in under its trainer's command. It launched a heavy slam, carrying enough force to overturn a tank. Charizard, Dragon Rush. Undaunted, Zhongli called out a move he'd been saving. Charizard, use Dragon Rush. Facing the charging Kirby, Zhongli called out a move he'd been saving, the powerful Dragon-type attack, Dragon Rush. To meet it head-on, Dragon-type energy enveloped Charizard, forming a light blue aura around him. This powerful armor protected him. Charizard spread his wings and dove towards Kirby, executing the Dragon Rush. The impact was deafening, forcing everyone to cover their ears. The arena floor shattered, engulfed in a cloud of dust, obscuring the view. As the dust settled, the scene became clear. Kirby had been hit hard by Charizard's Dragon Rush, sustaining serious injuries. It collapsed, unconscious. The ground where it fell was cracked and broken. The staff exclaimed that the arena was unusable and needed immediate repairs. Kirby, that the Kirby trainer cried out, retrieving his Pokeball. He didn't bother with the rest of the match, heading straight to the nearest Pokémon Center. The remaining Pikachu stood off to the side, shivering on the only intact patch of ground. Only a sturdy Pokémon like Kirby could withstand a Dragon Rush like that. If Pikachu had been the target, it would have been flattened. Seeing his elf's distress, the Pikachu trainer reluctantly withdrew it as well. Knowing Pikachu was outmatched, he conceded the match. In this round of tryouts, Zhongli had successfully advanced to the top 10. The next stage would be the official competition. Zhongli learned that he would be competing in the National Water Gymnasium. It was an honor to participate in a Young Generations competition held at a national-level facility. Even king-level competitions were held at the Water Gym. Zhongli lay in bed that night, researching his next opponents. Once the official competition was set, everyone's data would be posted online. Zhongli saw that 124 people were participating, up from the 100 or so who had made it through the tryouts. Some entrants had been directly seeded into the official matches, a move that no one protested. These competitors were at the peak of level 30. Allowing them to participate in the tryouts would have been unfair to the other contestants. As luck would have it, his weekly dimensional adventure reset, and he was ready to take the elves on a trip to another world. Yuyo, activate the system travel function and let's go on a dimensional adventure. Request accepted, initiating search. Available world, Naruto. Available elves, Charizard and Tyranitar. Confirm travel. Chapter 47 Making a Fuss in Konoha Village. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yuyo, I'm going on a dimensional adventure. That the second Zhongli said it, Charizard and Shakira's vanished from his arms. Ding dong star. The elf Charizard has appeared near Konoha Village. That a shimmering, golden portal opened in the forest bordering Konoha. Nearby bird, startled, flew away. Charizard emerged from the portal, entering the world of Naruto. He recognized the village and smirked. His previous experience here hadn't been pleasant. He'd been chased away like a monster. Ninjas mistook him for a summoned beast and bombarded him with jutsu. The third Hokage's attack nearly killed him. Charizard decided to play a little prank on the village, stir up some trouble. He flapped his wings and soared into the sky, arriving above Konoha in moments. Some sharp-eyed ninjas spotted him, but they lacked the means to reach him. As the sentry ninja sounded the alarm, the village ninjas gathered at the perimeter. The third Hokage, alerted to the attack, led his Umbu to the front lines. Seeing Charizard, he immediately thought of the fire dinosaur from before. The two looked similar, except this one had wings. Even if he could reach Charizard, what could he do? Charizard was too high up. And even with their jumping abilities or long-range attacks, they couldn't touch him. The third Hokage felt a pang of regret. He murmured, "Minato. If only you were here. I really regret it now. Ugh." He spoke so softly, no one heard him. The third Hokage resolved to wait. If Charizard came down, they'd attack. Charizard, high above, eyed the people below. He grinned and gathered fire energy, preparing fire release. Fire dragon flame bullet. Countless streams of fire shot from his mouth. These balls of flame transformed into flaming dragons. They hurtled toward the village. The ninjas below reacted, forming seals and using water release jutsu to try to extinguish them. But these flaming dragons changed direction mid-air. They broke through the water attacks, setting houses ablaze. The ninjas scattered, using water jutsu to put out the fires. Because the flaming dragons landed at random, they were exhausted from running around. Charizard deliberately targeted unoccupied houses, drawing the ninjas away from the village edge. Once enough of them were gone, he dove downwards, headfirst. Hiruzen Sarutobi, watching his village become Charizard's playground, scowled, knowing that summoned beasts held grudges. He'd send out ninjas to put out the fire, and waited for Charizard to make a move. As expected, Sarutobi Hiruzen saw the opening he needed. He summoned the Ape Demon King, who transformed into a Vajra rod in his hand. When Charizard got close enough, Hiruzen Sarutobi channeled his chakra. The Vajra rod extended instantly, reaching Charizard. The rod was aimed at Charizard's head. The speed of the impact would be lethal. Sarutobi Hiruzen intended to kill the fire-breathing dragon, but, at the last second, Charizard flapped his wings and hovered in the air. The Vajra rod stopped just short of Charizard. Damn it, so close, Sarutobi Hiruzen cursed. He'd counted on Charizard's downward momentum, but the sudden stop left his weapon too short. Ow! Charizard flew past the Rui golden cudgel and hovered in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen, laughing mockingly. Then he flapped his wings, ready to leave. He'd set enough fires to get his revenge. Charizard's anger had dissipated, but Hiruzen Sarutobi was now mad. He used his summoning jutsu, calling forth a ninja tool pouch. Sarutobi Hiruzen grabbed a handful of shurikens and threw them at Charizard. Charizard eyed the shurikens dismissively. "You think that's going to stop me?" Sarutobi Hiruzen made a hand seal. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. The shurikens multiplied mid-air. Soon, they filled the sky. Each one a real shuriken, thanks to Sarutobi's shadow clone technique. Charizard, seeing the overwhelming number of shurikens, panicked and turned to flee, but he was completely surrounded. Ow! He mobilized all his fire energy. The best offense is a good defense. The fire energy formed a protective armor around his body. Charizard charged at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a flash charge. The shurikens melted on contact with the extreme heat. Charizard, a flaming dragon, knocked Sarutobi Hiruzen away. The intense temperature was destroying his body. Chapter 48 Rasengan. The Secret of Immortal Magic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Charizard thought he had Sarutobi Hiruzen cornered, the guy pulled a fast one and poofed away in a cloud of smoke. Sarutobi and the other dude had used a substitution jutsu to escape at the last second. Charizard started scanning around, trying to figure out where Sarutobi was hiding. Suddenly, the old man appeared behind him and swung his staff. Charizard sensed the danger just in time and channeled his energy. He launched himself into the air with a sage art, earth-shattering kick, barely dodging Sarutobi's attack. Man, I'm getting old. Sarutobi sighed. If I were younger, you wouldn't have stood a chance. Then he added, the rest is up to you, kid. Right after Sarutobi finished, a middle-aged guy with white hair, or paint on his face, and an oil container on his head stepped out. Gramps, figured you knew I was coming. It was Jiraiya. Sarutobi's student, Jiraiya glared at Charizard, then summoned a giant toad. Gamabunta appeared above Charizard, trying to crush him. Seeing the massive toad about to drop on him, Charizard used his blazing speed and dodged just in time. Rasengan. Jiraiya appeared next to Charizard, a swirling ball of energy crackling in his palm. Ouch! Charizard blasted him with a jet of flames, knocking Jiraiya back. But the attack was just a distraction for Bunta. The giant toad stuck out his legs, raised his butt, and swung a massive knife at Charizard. Reacting instantly, Charizard gathered all his dragon energy. He focused it into a single point, creating the raw power of the Dragon God. Charizard slammed into Gamabunta with a Dragon God dive, knocking the giant toad flying. Jiraiya, looking grim, started another chant. He summoned Shima and Fukasaku, the Toad Sages. With their help, Jiraiya entered Sage Mode. Sage Art, Goman. Jiraiya and the two sages unleashed a combined attack, a storm of oil, wind, and fire that engulfed Charizard. Charizard countered with Dragon Rage. Just then, Sarutobi jumped in, hitting Charizard while he was distracted. Enraged, Charizard lashed out. Sage Art, Supersized Rasengan. Jiraiya poured a massive amount of nature energy into his Rasengan. The Rasengan expanded into a huge, swirling vortex. Charizard felt the aura of destruction radiating from the Rasengan. If he took that hit head-on, he'd be toast, and Sarutobi was holding him down, preventing him from escaping. The massive Rasengan closed in, and Sarutobi teleported away. A deafening roar erupted as the Rasengan slammed into the ground. A crater appeared, sending debris flying everywhere. You think we got him? Probably, Sarutobi and Jiraiya said, but of course, it wasn't over. Long before Charizard was in real danger, the system kicked in. Ding dong. Life-threatening situation detected. Initiating teleportation. Please wait. The instant the supersized Rasengan hit, Charizard vanished. Congratulations. Charizard has obtained the ninjutsu, Rasengan. Congratulations. Charizard has obtained the Sage Art, Supersized Rasengan. Zhongli was ecstatic. Charizard had not only survived but learned the Rasengan and the Sage Art version. You gotta know that this Rasengan is a classic technique in the Naruto world. In Charizard's hands, it would be devastating. With the Rasengan, Charizard didn't have to worry about getting blindsided anymore. He could summon his energy at any moment and instantly create a powerful Rasengan, and he'd also gained the Sage Art. Supersized Rasengan, a serious trump card, especially against tough opponents. This supersized energy attack would tear through their defenses. Congratulations. Charizard has unlocked the secrets of Sage Mode from the Art of the Five Right Gates. Learned how to combine Sage Mode with other attacks. Hahaha. Zhongli grinned, watching Charizard master Sage Mode. He had already learned the basics, storing natural energy in his body. The accumulated energy had increased his strength, durability, and physical fitness, but Charizard hadn't known how to use it. It was like giving a kid a sword but no training. Charizard had just been throwing natural energy around, getting a temporary boost. This was inefficient, wasting a ton of energy. Even his Flame Fist was only a rough draft, but now, with the secrets of Sage Mode, he could combine it with any attack. He could harness natural energy perfectly. With zero waste, combined with Sage Mode, his attacks would be amplified. Sage Art, Jet Flame, Sage Art, Dragon God Dive, Sage Art, Flare Blitz, etc. With these attacks, Charizard could dominate any foe. Congratulations. Charizard has received an experience critical hit. Double experience gained. Congratulations. Charizard has leveled up to level 29. Congratulations. Charizard has returned. As soon as the system finished, Charizard was back in his Pokeball. This time, Zhongli didn't tell him to hold back. After a period of intense training, his foundation was solid. He could keep improving his strength. And now, with the experience boost, he had reached level 29. Chapter 49 Iwagakure Demolition Team, Explosive Escape Blood Succession Boundary. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhongli tossed open the Pokeball, and out popped Charizard. The massive Pokémon nearly filled the hotel room. Impressed by Charizard's improved strength, Zhongli used his ability to check its stats. Race, Charizard. Gender, male. Strength, level 29, peak of high level. Attribute, fire/flying. Abilities, solar power/torrent. Potential, champion. Moves, fire, flamethrower, fire spin, dragon breath, fire blast, water, waterfall, superpower, mega kick, shadow clone, Rasengan, sage art. Super Rasengan, reversal, brave bird. Charizard was close to breaking through to the elite level. Meanwhile, back with Tyranitar. Tyranitar has appeared near Iwagakure village in the Naruto world. Near the rocky mountains surrounding Iwagakure, Tyranitar burst through a golden portal. Learning from its past mistake, it avoided running straight into the village. Last time, its accidental entry triggered alarms. Any intrusion now would be immediately noticed by Iwagakure's elite, especially after Tyranitar's previous visit. They had reinforced their defenses with a protective barrier extending 100 meters underground. Just then, a squad of ninjas approached Iwagakure and noticed Tyranitar observing the village. The squad leader immediately attacked. Exploding release, ground pound. The attacking ninjas were Iwagakure's demolition squad. Their leader was Gary, a ninja with the explosive release Kekii Genkai. Gary's hands crackled as he formed explosive rocks and charged at Tyranitar. Caught off guard, Tyranitar quickly gathered its energy and slammed the ground. Using earthquake, it cracked the earth around Gary. Gary jumped back to avoid the altered terrain. Tyranitar had used earthquake to buy itself some breathing room. Humph! Gary's first attack failed, so he immediately prepared another. Exploding release, exploding clay, twin-winged birds. Gary used his explosive release to manipulate the surrounding clay, forming small bird-shaped figures. This exploding clay technique was a signature move of Deidara, a former Iwagakure ninja who became a member of Akatsuki. Before defecting, Deidara was Gary's subordinate and the demolition squad's vice-captain. Gary was Deidara's mentor, teaching him the art of exploding clay. Fueled by explosive release, the clay bird zoomed towards Tyranitar. Seeing the incoming explosive birds, Tyranitar channeled its earth energy. Earth release, earth wall. Instead of trying anything fancy, Tyranitar played it safe. A massive wall of earth rose beside Tyranitar just as the clay birds arrived. The birds slammed into the wall and detonated violently. The combined explosions shattered the earth wall, sending sand and smoke everywhere, obscuring the area. Tyranitar had already slipped away during the chaos. Damn it! Gary cursed, realizing his attack was ineffective. Exploding release, clay spiders. Under Gary's control, the clay began to morph into a swarm of tiny spiders. The spiders scuttled toward Tyranitar. Anyone with trypophobia would have been horrified by the sight of the insectoid mass. Contact with a target would trigger a massive explosion. A single blast could cripple someone, but this horde of spiders could decimate an army. Tyranitar's skin crawled at the sight of the clay spider swarm. While its cocoon-like armor was tough, it couldn't withstand a barrage of explosions. The spiders exploded as they advanced, leaving a trail of smoking craters. However, the spiders had a fatal flaw: they couldn't attack airborne targets. Tyranitar could exploit this weakness to escape. Using earth release, super lightened boulder technique, Tyranitar reduced its weight. It soared into the air, out of the spiders' reach. The spiders exploded uselessly, leaving the ground riddled with small craters. Shaky, Tyranitar taunted, seeing its enemies' futile attacks. It was as if it was saying, "Come and get me." Gary didn't understand. Exploding release, exploding clay. While Gary kept Tyranitar busy, the other members of the demolition team were hard at work. As members of Iwagakure's demolition squad, they possessed varying degrees of explosive release. Together, they summoned a huge quantity of explosive clay. Gary's earlier battle with Tyranitar was a stall tactic. The explosive clay summoned by the team could obliterate an entire forest. Since they were far from Iwagakure, they were free to unleash their power. Seeing his team succeed, Gary gathered the clay. He channeled his ninjutsu. Exploding release, C2 Dragon. The clay began to coalesce. Under Gary's manipulation, it formed into a massive, dragon-shaped figure, a colossal dragon made of clay. Chapter 50 National Water Gym. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This massive clay dragon had 2 wings on its back, a towering body, and powerful limbs. Its wings stretched out for what seemed like meters. The clay dragon immediately spread its wings and charged Shakira's, facing an enemy that huge, a target so massive, and one that could fly faster. Shakira's immediately channeled all his energy and unleashed a death beam. Below, the Demolition Captain Hunting smirked and detonated the clay dragon, ding dong, star. Life-threatening danger detected for Shakira's. Initiating teleportation. The moment the clay dragon got close, it instantly began to darken and swell. In the distance, villagers in Iwagakure heard a deafening explosion. The shock wave slammed into Yenin village's barrier, causing a visible ripple. People gazed from afar, seeing a massive mushroom cloud rising beyond the stone mountains. The demolition team, huddled behind a massive earthen wall some distance away, watched the explosion. The wall, the result of their combined earth-style, earth-flow rampart technique, had protected them from the blast. Without it, they would have been blown away. The team waited until the dust settled and silence fell. Then, the demolition captain Carey ordered his team to sweep the battlefield, looking for any remains to prove the mission's success. After all, Iwagakure had been attacked by psychic beasts before, so the third Tsuchikage tasked them with eliminating any enemies snooping around the village. Meanwhile, Shakira's waited in the system space for his reward. Congratulations to Elf Shakira's for obtaining Earth-style, Earth-flow rampart. Earth-style, Earth-flow rampart is an upgraded version of Earth-style, Earth-flow wall. It summons a huge defensive wall. Zhongli was pleased that Shakira's had learned this move. If multiple elves were surrounded in the wild, or caught in a swarm, this technique would significantly increase their chances of survival. A massive, instantly deployable wall could defend a base at critical moments. Congratulations to Elf Shakira's for obtaining Earth-style, Swamp of the Underworld. This technique turns the land into a muddy swamp, trapping or attacking opponents. It was another useful move for Shakira's, giving him another way to ensnare enemies. Congratulations to Elf Shakira's for obtaining the Bloodline Limit, Explosion Release. Whoa! Zhongli grinned, ecstatic about the explosion release. With this, Shakira's strength would skyrocket. As a rock elf, Shakira's could naturally manipulate sand and stone. Combined with explosion release, he could make it explode. Think about that. Everyday rocks and pebbles become explosives. An opponent might be able to withstand a barrage of rocks, but exploding rocks? It would be a devastating, almost unavoidable attack. Zhongli had hoped Shakira's would acquire an even stronger bloodline limit. He had wanted Shakira's to learn the third Tsuchikage particle style, Atomic Dismantling Jutsu. That jutsu can break down matter to an atomic level, but that kind of power was probably beyond Shakira's current abilities. If he could face the third Tsuchikage head-on, then maybe he could learn it. Congratulations to Elf Shakira's for receiving a triple experience critical hit and gaining a massive amount of experience. Congratulations to Elf Shakira's for leveling up. Current level, 27. Congratulations to Elf Shakira's for returning. The system finished, and Shakira's reappeared before Zhongli. Zhongli immediately used his appraisal. Race, Shakira's, shiny elf. Gender, female. Strength, level 27, mid-tier. Attribute, rock/ground. Ability, shed skin. Potential, quasi-king. Moves, earth-style, earth formation wall, earth-style, headhunter jutsu, earth-style, super lightened boulder jutsu, earth-style, earth flow rampart, explosion release, tackle, leer, payback, bite, scary face, rock throw, stomp, death beam. Because Shakira's had built a solid foundation, Zhongli wasn't worried about the rapid level up. Before reaching elite tier strength, Shakira's focused on leveling up. Zhongli touched Shakira's hard shell, his pupil casing. Shakira's was in the final stage before evolving into Tyranitar. Zhongli felt the shell loosening. With a little more strength, Shakira's would soon evolve. Finally, the day of the official competition arrived. Zhongli reluctantly paid the cab fare. They arrived on the coast of Pudong, home to the nation's premier water-type gym. The country had built the gym there to face threats from the sea. Across from the gym was the East China Sea. Legend had it that a powerful dragon-like elf lived there. People called it the Dragon King of the East China Sea. Jiangli guessed the water gym was there to keep watch over the Dragon King. Jiangli boarded a sightseeing train to enter the water gym. The area was on reclaimed land. The train traveled straight toward the gym. From the shore, the massive water gym looked like a shimmering pearl. It stood in the sea, impervious to the waves. The nation's strongest water-type elf lived here. The train reached the center of the water gym. Jiangli gazed at the imposing structure. "This is it," he muttered. "The strongest water gym in the country." He realized a lot of effort had gone into building this forward base, because the water gym wasn't just a gym, it was a war base.